We'd like to introduce you to the CrossPurpose Financial Planner. And to start, we'll explain why the planner exists. Consider a family. Well, like all families, this family has expenses to pay. A lot of expenses. Like housing, transportation, healthcare, food, childcare, and of course, taxes. Families have to pay for all of these expenses, and so they need to generate income by working. But often the income earned from a single job isn't nearly enough to cover all those expenses. So many families take on multiple jobs, perhaps a gig economy job, but even then it can feel exhaustingly impossible to make ends meet. And when parents are under stress, kids will be too. Now thankfully the government tries to step in to close this gap. And it does so with a wide array of benefits programs and tax credits that span multiple agencies and can have a dizzying set of eligibility requirements and benefits limits. Nonetheless, with hard work and perseverance, a family can secure access to these benefits and finally make ends meet by having a combination of income and benefits that is greater than their expenses. We call that difference in income and expenses net annual income. And for this family, their net annual income is positive, which is great. Sort of. You see, this family's only barely scraping by. What happens if an unforeseen medical emergency occurs? What if a parent wants to go back to school? Or someday pay for their kids' tuition? What if they want to save for retirement? Or finally go on a vacation? There just isn't enough buffer in their net annual income. But this can be solved, right? And with a lot of effort and perseverance, one can get that promotion or higher paying job and see their income rise. And the result of all that work? Why, it's more net annual income, of course. Now, it's worth pausing to consider the emotional impact of such an achievement. A parent who has worked hard to finally get that raise will often feel tremendous joy and hope. After all, that $3 an hour raise, that translates to about $6,000 a year. And with that kind of money, one can start to dream. Maybe you can go on that vacation at last. Or maybe you'll celebrate with the kids by getting them that larger TV they've always wanted. And why wait? You can buy these things on credit because you know there's an extra $6,000 to work with this year. But this isn't the entire picture. You see, the income from that higher paying job has a direct effect on the government benefits the family is receiving. A higher income might mean that the family no longer satisfies some benefit eligibility requirements, which can result in a loss of benefits. Or perhaps the family can still receive a benefit, but the amount they are eligible for has gone down. At the end of the day, the family can end up in a worse place and actually have less net annual income than when they'd started. And if that weren't enough, the reality is that a family might feel like they're ahead for several months and only start to see signs of trouble months after getting that new job. And so all those feelings of joy and hope that led to all of those additional expenses can suddenly turn into feelings of surprise and despair. This effect is commonly referred to as the benefits cliff. Now, you might be thinking, okay, how bad is this really? Well, the benefits cliff does not just affect a handful of people over a small income range. It is systemic and affects millions of people across a substantial range of wages. For example, consider a single mom with 2 kids living in Denver County and working a full-time job at $10 per hour. We can ask the question, how does the family's net annual income change as the mom's hourly wage increases? Let's explore this by making a graph. We'll have hourly wage on the x-axis, going from $10 an hour to $30 an hour. On the y-axis, we'll track the change in net annual income. And we'll assume a baseline wage of $10 per hour and look at how net annual income changes relative to that baseline. What might we expect this graph to look like? Well, if you get to keep every additional dollar you earn, then this graph would look like this. If you earn an extra $3 an hour, then your net annual income would grow by about $6,000 a year. But as we've discussed, you don't get to keep every additional dollar you earn. And it turns out the actual change in net annual income looks like this, which is incredibly surprising. The change in net annual income across this wide wage range is substantially lower than you'd expect. Let's zoom in and explore what's going on. First, notice that between $10 and $16 an hour, there is almost no change in net annual income. Why? Well, it turns out that for every $1 increase in hourly wage, 11 cents of that dollar is lost to a reduction in childcare benefits, 30 cents due to a reduction in housing benefits, 34 cents due to an increase in taxes and a reduction in tax credits, and 22 cents due to a reduction in food benefits, which leaves only 3 cents of that dollar for the family to pocket. And that's why we see net annual income hardly grow at all. You'll also notice a few places where net annual income actually drops. These are examples of benefits cliffs. At around $16 an hour, this family loses Medicaid. At around $20 an hour, they lose SNAP. And at around $23 an hour, they lose Section 8. In fact, between $10 an hour and $26 an hour, this family is at a financial standstill, or worse. Now, as you can imagine, all of this complexity makes it hard to reason about financial decisions. It becomes scary and difficult to make life decisions with confidence. And one of the worst things about this picture is how that sense of joy and hope at making financial progress can unexpectedly turn into a sense of surprise and despair. This is where the CrossPurpose Financial Planner tries to help. The planner is a software product that families use alongside an experienced financial navigator. The financial planner helps families and navigators explore and make financial decisions with confidence, and provides financial education opportunities along the way. Here's a sketch of how it works. First, the family and navigator work together to capture the family's financial picture. They tell the planner about the family makeup and the county where the family lives. They then tell the planner about the family's income sources, and the planner supports employment-based income as well as self-employment income. They then tell the planner about their various expenses. These are broken out by category, allowing navigators and families to make sure they have a robust conversation about the family's expenses. In fact, the planner integrates with the self-sufficiency standard published by the Colorado Center on Law and Policy. The standard allows families and navigators to get a sense for what similar families in the same county pay for a given category. These estimates become opportunities for conversation and financial education as navigators and families discuss where expenses may be higher than expected. The planner also includes support for estimating and capturing a variety of government benefits programs that help offset these expenses. Navigators and families can work together to capture which programs the family has already signed up for. Here, the portions in blue represent expenses that are covered by government benefits. And the planner can highlight opportunities to enroll in additional benefits programs. This can lead to conversations with the navigator and an opportunity to sign up for additional benefits. Finally, the planner includes support for capturing the family's debt burden. This can include credit card debt or fixed-term debt such as student loans. The planner enables further education opportunities around debt. Navigators can help families understand how their debt payments contribute towards debt principal and interest. And by exploring different interest rates and different payment strategies and timelines, navigators can help families understand how these variables affect and could potentially improve their total debt costs. Now, with all these pieces in place, the planner is able to automatically calculate the family's taxes. The planner can calculate both a federal tax return and a Colorado state tax return, and includes support of the most relevant tax credits for low-income families, such as the Earned Income Credit, the Child Tax Credit, the Child Independent Care Credit, and support for modeling self-employment taxes. With the taxes calculated, the planner has all the information it needs to calculate the family's financial outlook. This includes an instant estimate of the family's net annual income and an estimate of the family's monthly cash flow for the next year. With the financial picture painted, the family and navigator can begin to explore different scenarios. For example, what happens if the parent does manage to secure a higher paying job? A simple change in the income section will automatically propagate across the financial picture, and resulting changes will be highlighted for review. And the net annual income and cash flow calculations will change instantly to reflect the family's new financial outlook. In this case, the gains in income are more than offset by losses in benefits and tax credits, resulting in a lower net annual income. The ability to make estimates like these quickly is powerful and opens the door for more systematic conversations between navigators and families. Multiple copies of the financial picture can be made, and multiple different scenarios can be explored in tandem. With the help of an experienced navigator, a family may be able to land on a set of decisions that leads them on a healthier financial trajectory. There can be many parts to successfully navigating this treacherous financial landscape. Perhaps a career change, along with some budget changes and some tailored financial support, in this case consolidation of multiple sources of debt into a single interest-free loan, can work together to improve the family's financial outlook. The ability to explore such options quantitatively can help reduce that sense of surprise and despair and bring some much-needed confidence and direction to the family's financial decision-making. That's what the CrossPurpose Financial Planner endeavors to do. It helps families see the impact of financial decisions to reduce surprise and make financial plans with confidence.